I have to go back in and change the starting and ending periods. So for this one sorry, for the first one it's good, but for the second one, change it to 13 and 24. And then this one will be 25 and 36. And then I'll just fix them up to make it formatted correctly. To calculate the depreciation value, I'm just going to take the depreciation base, which is the depreciable base, divided by this 27.5 cost recovery period. And I'll just make it negative. Quick, just to drag it across, I'll lock these values in. Full income, you're just it's gonna be the sum of all these numbers here. Tax cash flow, and first we'll just drag down the before tax cash flow value that's up here. I think I'll be able to drag it. Yep. To calculate tax impact, you're going to take taxable income times I think it's the tax rate, but let me check.
And we have taxes of like this bold since it's a heading, like this bold. And now we need to know what our since we're trying to be consistent. Since we're trying to be consistent. Since we're trying to be consistent.
Yeah, so it's taxable income times this rate right here, investor's tax rate on income. And then lock these. And I think that this should be a negative number. So I'll just change that real quick. And finally, this. Tax cash flow is just again going to be the sum of these numbers. To calculate the future sales price, you're just going to take the, I won't even do parentheses yet, you'll take the acquisition price times 1 plus this, where'd it go? Appreciation total for holding period. To calculate the selling cost now, you're going to reference this number times the selling cost rate. Proceeds from the sale will just be the sum of these two numbers. loan balance. You're just going to do the present value function times, present value function. You're going to take the mortgage rate, which is, I'm lost. Oh, it's right there. Divided by 12. And then you're going to take the term minus that times 12. And then the monthly payment, which is where? Monthly payment right there. Before tax equity reversion, to calculate that, it's the sum of the net proceeds and the loan balance. So proceeds from the sale would just obviously bring that number down from here. Basis are just going to bring down the acquisition price. So I'm going to go up and do that now. $375,000. Accumulated depreciation, you're going to take the sum of the 3 years of depreciation. So just your improvement expenses, and you're just going to go up to the top for that. Where is it? Oh, 6,000 right here. And then for the adjusted basis, it's just going to be the sum of these numbers. Capital gain is just going to be, the sum, or the difference of net proceeds from the sale and the adjusted basis. Depreciation portion is just going to be the number that we already calculated up here. And then this appreciation portion is going to be the difference between the two. So I don't think I did that right. That'll be, sorry. There we go. And then it's going to be 15% and 25%. Taxes, it'll be the 6750 times 15%. And then do the same thing for this one. And to get the capital gains tax, you're just going to sum total these numbers up here. Well, I keep doing that. We just pulled down the variables and values from above, just so you can have a better look at it while you're calculating. In a minute, we'll calculate the IRR and NPV, and it just makes it easier to look at, easier to figure out where the numbers are coming from. But to calculate the total cash flows right here, I'm just going to do the sum for each of these columns for each year. So equity, you're just going to take the acquisition price minus the loan amount. And then you can just drag down the improvement expenses value from right here, actually. Right here, 6,000. Initial investment's just going to be the sum of these two numbers here. I took the initial investment and extended the year this little table I made back to 0, so you can look at the initial investment and then what happened to the number for the first, second, and third year. And it makes it easier to calculate the internal rate of return, because you can just do that function now and grab these numbers right here, and it will calculate to a 22% internal rate of return. To calculate this present value factor, you're just going to take 1 over 1 plus 10%. And I'm just going to switch it to a percentage. Yeah, so this was, like I said before, just 1 divided by 1 plus the required rate of return, sorry. And then to drag this out for the second and third year, I'll do that first, but go back in, lock this value, and do the same thing here. And then I'll square this one and cube the next one. Numbers, these last numbers here, I took the PV factor number and just multiplied it by the total cash flow for year 1, 2, and 3. And to calculate the NPV, you can just first take the calculate the sum of these 3, and then NPV you do, I'll just move it over right here. Basically, we take this number minus what your initial investment was. Decision here would be that it is a good idea to invest, because the internal rate of return that we calculated is well above what the required rate was, so it would be a good investment. And the NPV is 54,000, so it would be a good investment.